Today we have a computer system which has a faulty onboard Ethernet port, and therefore we need to replace it with a wired network card. Before carrying out the actual installation, it is important that we check the specifications of the computer system. In this case, we checked the specifications of the motherboard and noted that the motherboard is equipped with PCI slots. Therefore, in order for the network card to be compatible with this computer system, it has to be PCI. Then we need to make sure to prepare all the necessary resources required for the upgrade. In this case, we will need the anti-static mat, an anti-static wristband, a toolbox including different types and sizes of screwdrivers which might be needed during the installation, the PCI wired network card, and an air compressor. We also need to consider possible tests which can be used to ensure that the installed network card is functional. This time we will try to access a website. We also need to take note of the serial number for the network card we will be installing. We shall also consider whether a backup of important data is necessary. Generally, backups are useful when installing a hard disk drive, and therefore, in this case, we won't be doing any backups. It is also important to read the instructions provided with the component which is to be installed. Once all the necessary resources are prepared, we can start the actual installation. It is important that first we make sure that the computer is switched off. Then we shall turn off the switch and remove the plug from the wall socket. Cautiously we can start detaching the cables from the back of the computer tower. It is important to first remove the power cord. Having removed all the cables, we can then place the computer tower on the workbench. Considering that this particular tower is clip-on, we would not be using any screwdrivers to remove its side panel. In order to prevent electrostatic discharge from damaging the components, it is important to attach the anti-static mat and anti-static wristband to the metal case. We also need to wear the anti-static wristband. We then remove the network card from its packaging and place it on the anti-static mat. These are the PCI slots where we shall be installing the network card. In in this case, in order to be able to install the network card, we need to remove this screw, which is currently holding the cover in place. By removing this cover, we will be making space where we can fix the network card in place. We shall be using a Phillips screwdriver. In order to keep the screws safe in place, we shall be using a screw tube. While installing the network card, it is important to first align the card with the PCI slot. Then apply adequate force in order to insert the network card in place. It is important not to apply excessive force as to avoid damages. We shall now put the cover back in place and secure it tightly using the Phillips screw. Using an air compressor, we shall clean the tower in order to remove any dust which might have accumulated by time. Having cleaned the system, we need to remove the anti-static mat and anti-static wristband in order to close the tower. We can now test the computer to make sure that the network card has been successfully installed. Finally, attach all the cables back into their ports. Make sure to attach the Ethernet cable to the Ethernet port of the network card you have just installed. Also remember to plug the power cord at the very end. Now that all the cables have been attached to their ports, we can plug the plug into its wall socket. During preparation, we decided that we shall be accessing a website to test the installation of the network card. Therefore, we shall turn on the computer and try to access a website. We shall be using Internet Explorer to try to access the website. The website for Bing has uploaded. We now try to access another website, like for example Google. This shows that the network card has been successfully installed.